grew up in a hair salon. My mom owned a hair salon. I grew up with every type of black woman, from lawyers to doctors to teachers to the everyday black woman to the side chick.
People starting to think that Jay-Z is going broke. And here's why. This is a video of the current CEO of Roc Nation talking about how they might be having to file for bankruptcy.
It's just like, why she mixes things, she figures things out. So we have our own little products that she's been doing for years. We all know she has all this colored hair that she wears wigs a lot to protect her hair. But, you know, she wanted to keep our hair healthy.
Y'all, Solange is out here raging, and it's not some random feud or petty shade. This time, it's family business. Word on the street is that Jay-Z is allegedly trying to slide his way into Beyoncé's new company, Cécred, and Solange. She is not having it. She's allegedly furious. Tina Knowles is low-key shading him, and the internet is saying this could turn into a full-blown family war. But here's where it gets even messier. People think Jay-Z is only eyeing Cecred because his own empire might be crumbling. Remember, this is the same man who just took out a $58 million second mortgage on his Bel-Air mansion. And why would a billionaire need another loan? That's the question fans are asking. And let's not forget, Jay and Diddy go way back with business ventures and luxury collabs. But now that Diddy's facing all those cases, Jay's been keeping real quiet. Too quiet. He hasn't said a word. He's been distancing himself. And some folks think those ties might be the reason his own bag isn't looking so secure anymore. So now, the theory is simple. While Jay-Z is out here juggling debt and dodging Diddy drama, he might be trying to step in and control Beyoncé's company to keep his billionaire image alive. And if that's true, Solange and Tina are ready to blow the lid off it. So, before we even touch Cécred, we can't ignore the obvious, Jay-Z and Diddy. Everybody already knows they ran in the same circles for years. Liquor deals, flashy parties, luxury everything. Jay had Doucet and Ace of Spades. Diddy had Ciroc. They were basically hyping each other up at every turn. Two moguls flexing side by side. And just so y'all remember how close they really were, here's a throwback of Jay and Diddy together at the so-called Billionaires Brunch.
It's 2020, y'all. And it's different than when it was 2016. You know, the game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black billionaires lunch. You understand? Right. And we here together, and we're gonna keep staying together. We getting tighter. You know what I'm saying? And united we stand. And ain't nothing else to us. Black excellence.
But fast forward to now, and the energy, completely different. Diddy's facing one of the messiest scandals in hip-hop history. Lawsuits, raids, allegations stacked left and right, and Jay, radio silence. He hasn't said a single word. No support, no distancing statement, nothing. Even 50 Cent weighed in on it, but Jay-Z didn't. Though I gotta admit that 50 was probably just clowning.
Surprised by the allegations, as surprised as everyone else is. I didn't make the allegations, I didn't tell people to say these things. It comes out, I see it in the news like everyone else, but I did feel uncomfortable with the way you represent the idea of going to these projects.
To come party with me.
Yeah. And then that swayed me away from it, just that alone.
And that silence is louder than any comment he could have made. Why? Because when you've done business with somebody like Diddy, the last thing you want is the spotlight swinging back on you. Fans online are already connecting dots, saying Jay's keeping quiet to protect himself, his reputation, and most importantly, his money. And let's be real, the timing couldn't be worse. Because right when people started questioning why Jay-Z was suddenly moving in the shadows, the news about that billionaire mortgage hit. And y'all, that's when the speculation about his money really kicked off. Because if you're really sitting on billions, why would you need a second mortgage just to keep your mansion? Now, back in April 2025, news broke that Jay-Z and Beyoncé took out a second mortgage on their Bel-Air mansion. And not just a little loan either. We're talking nearly $58 million, which pushed their total debt on that house to over $110 million. And of course, fans had something to say about it. Just listen to how people were already side-eyeing that massive Bel-Air mortgage.
So, Jay-Z and Beyoncé took out a $57 million loan on their Bel-Air mansion. And people are curious as to why they would make that move and saying that, oh, I knew they were broke and stuff like that.
Now officially, the move is being called strategic. The story is that they wanted to free up cash for other investments, which makes sense on paper. But let's be real, fans weren't buying it. The conversation online changed fast. People started asking, wait, why does a billionaire need to borrow money? Why not just pay in cash? And suddenly, the word broke started floating around in the comments. One person even said, you gotta listen to Tasha K. Beyoncé and Jay-Z have assets, but their business ventures are not making money. They had tax liens they couldn't pay and got denied loans, so now this is the second time they had to take out a loan on their home. They'll have to pay all that back plus interest. No one wants to do business with them, and her fans don't even really like her. Her tickets are selling for cheap compared to what they used to cost. And this isn't the first time Jay's business decisions have sparked side eyes. From Rocawear to Tidal, not every venture he's touched is still pulling in the same money. And when you take a closer look at the empire he built, you start to see the cracks showing. Now, nobody can deny that Jay-Z built one of the most insane business empires in hip-hop history. This man went from hustling out of the trunk of his car to owning pieces of liquor brands, tech companies, sports agencies, and more. On paper, it screams billionaire boss. But when you actually look at it up close, some of those wins don't shine as bright anymore. Let's take it back. In the 90s, he co-founded Rockefeller Records, and that literally changed the game. Then came Rocawear in '99, huge in its prime, but by 2007 he sold it off for about $204 million, and the hype died down quick. And if you need a reminder of how it all started, here's Jay himself explaining how Rockefeller even came to be.
We were forced in the beginning. I wish I could say we were geniuses and said we're going to start our own company. That's not what happened. In the beginning, we went to every single label, and every single label shut their door on us. The genius thing that we did was we didn't give up. We didn't say, because these guys, we use that what do they know approach. We didn't give up at that point. I think that was the genius thing we did. We started selling our own CDs and we built our own buzz, and then the record company came back to us. So now we had a different negotiation.
Fast forward to 2008, and he launched Roc Nation, his crown jewel. That one actually worked, expanding into artist management and even Roc Nation Sports, where he started signing athletes like Kevin Durant. It was his real CEO moment. Then in 2015, he made the bold move with Tidal, buying it as the artist-owned answer to Spotify. And of course, the liquor plays. Ace of Spades Champagne and Douce Cognac, that's where he stayed winning in the culture. But even that's messy now, with reports of legal battles with Bacardi over control. And when it comes to liquor, he stayed flexing. Just listen to how he talked about the new partnership.
Why Moet?
It just was aligned in our thinking and thoughts and, the way they care about products and creating products. When we built Armand from the ground up, we wanted to do things right. The integrity of it had to be right. The soil, of course, it had to be in Champagne because it can't be called Champagne unless it's from the region.
On top of that, Jay dipped into venture capital with Marcy Venture Partners, investing in everything from Uber to cannabis brands like Monogram. Smart moves, but none of them are at their peak right now.
Jay-Z is Silicon Valley's latest venture capitalist. Business Insider is reporting that Jay is expanding his business to the world of startup investments by launching his own venture capital firm. Paperwork filed to the state of California last month reveals that Sean Carter is creating a fund called Marcy Venture Partners with the help of Roc Nation's president Jay Brown and Walden Venture Capital's managing director Lawrence Marcus.
So yeah, Jay-Z has the resume of a mogul. But when you zoom in, a lot of those ventures are either sold off, slowed down, or caught up in legal drama. Which is why some people think Cécred isn't just Beyoncé's baby anymore. Jay might be circling it like his next lifeline. And that's where Cécred comes in. Because while Jay's ventures might be shaky, Beyoncé has been cooking up something brand new. And this one is all hers. And to see how serious she is about it, just look at Beyoncé herself showing off Cécred on wash day.
I do use a tiny bit of moisture seal before flat ironing. The stigma and misconception is that people that wear wigs don't have long and healthy hair. That's some bullshit, because it ain't nobody business. I'll get back to my hair. I like to blow dry my hair on medium heat because I try to stay away from as much heat as possible and using the old school pressing comb. I've chosen color over perms or relaxers.
And of course, it wasn't just Bey. Tina Knowles is the vice chairwoman, which keeps the whole thing rooted in the family's salon history. What really seals it is Tina stepping in herself. breaking down why Cécred exists and how it ties back to the family's salon legacy.
It's like why she mixes things, she figures things out. So we have our own little products that she's been thinking for years. We all know she has all this colored hair that she wears wigs a lot to protect her hair. But, you know, she wanted to keep her hair healthy. And this girl will put some Solange in her head. I'm like, how are you doing that? You just gonna wear it for 2 days. But she will do it, and she'll cut her hair. She'll do all this crazy stuff to it, but she keeps her hair healthy. Yeah.
Even Solange has ties here, not directly on the business side, but through the inspiration. Remember, they literally grew up in Tina's salon in Houston. That space shaped their identity, their art, their creativity. So Cécred isn't just about products, it's about heritage.
My mom owned a hair salon. I grew up with every type of black woman, from lawyers to doctors, to teachers, to the everyday black woman, to the side chick, to, you know, you name it. And these women were my aunties, they were my teachers, they were the reflections of everything that I wanted to be as a woman.
Which is exactly why the thought of Jay-Z allegedly trying to step in and get control is such a problem. This isn't Roc Nation, this isn't Tidal, this is something Beyoncé and her family built from the ground up. And to Solange, it's sacred. And guys, let's be real. When it comes to Solange and Jay-Z, the beef didn't just start yesterday. Everybody remembers that night in 2014. The Met Gala after party, the elevator cameras, Solange going full big sister mode on Jay while Beyoncé stood in the corner looking like she'd seen this play out before. That footage became one of the most talked about celebrity clips of the decade. You don't even need a reminder, but here's that infamous Met Gala elevator clip that had the whole world talking. And even though they all played it cool afterward, let's not kid ourselves, that incident showed the world there was serious tension bubbling under the surface. Solange wasn't afraid to check Jay then, and she's allegedly not afraid to check him now. So when the whispers started that Jay-Z might be trying to slide into Cécred, fans immediately connected the dots. Of course Solange would rage over this. It's giving deja vu, only this time the fight isn't happening in an elevator. It's happening in the boardroom. And sources claim Solange is not backing down. She's fuming, she's calling it out, and she's making sure everyone knows Cécred is off limits. And let's not act brand new, because if Solange raging on Jay-Z feels familiar, Tina Knowles allegedly throwing shade at him is nothing new either. This wouldn't even be the first time she's done it. In fact, there's a whole history of moments where fans swear Tina let her true feelings slip. First up, late 2024. Out of nowhere, Tina's Instagram account was caught liking a post that referenced the SA allegations tied to Jay-Z. The internet went crazy, immediately calling it shade. Tina tried to clean it up fast, claiming she was hacked and saying she doesn't play about her family. But a lot of people weren't convinced. Some fans still believe it was her way of low-key sending a message before pulling it back. Then there's her own words. On the run-through with Vogue podcast, Tina laughed about always screwing up on social media, and even admitted she ignores advice Jay-Z gives her. She said he'll sometimes tell her, if you're gonna read somebody, at least spell your words right. That might sound playful, but fans took it as Tina pushing back, like she's not about to let Jay police her voice. Subtle shade, but shade nonetheless. And don't forget her memoir, Matriarch. In it, she spilled on Beyoncé and Jay's early dating days, and let's just say, she didn't paint it as some perfect fairy tale courtship. She brought up another guy being in the picture and suggested things were a little complicated. Some people read that as her way of reminding everyone that Jay wasn't always the obvious choice. So when people now say Tina is shading Jay about Cécred, it fits a pattern. She's never gone full scorched earth, but the hints, the likes, the oops I said too much, they all add up to one thing. Tina's not exactly Jay-Z's biggest fan. And if Solange and Tina are already side-eyeing Jay, the real question becomes, where does this leave Beyoncé? Because while Solange is allegedly raging and Tina's dropping shade, Bey, she's doing what she always does, staying quiet, smiling for the cameras, and acting like nothing's wrong. But we all know that silence says a lot. On one side, you've got her husband, a man known for turning everything he touches into part of his empire. On the other side, her sister and her mom, basically yelling, nope, not this time. And let's be honest, if Tina and Solange are already this heated, it's only a matter of time before this spills into something way messier. Because protecting Cécred isn't just about money, it's about pride, independence, and proving that Beyoncé doesn't need Jay's hand on everything she builds. And honestly, if Jay really tries to step into Cécred, that's not just business. That's crossing a line the Knowles family won't forgive.